Welcome to Chamber Champions, presented by the Hernando Main Street Chamber of Commerce and SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. Chamber Champions spotlights the most dedicated and long-serving Hernando Main Street Chamber members. If you're interested in joining the Chamber, you can do so by going to hernandoms.org. Today, I'm talking to Doug Thornton from AERC PLLC. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep.
I see that you're an architectural design firm specializing in commercial, education, healthcare, and residential design.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, we're going to talk more about that, but first, thank you for being here.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. This is a situation where I meet the guests for the first time 5 minutes before the mics pop on. So this is great, though. And like off mic, I mentioned, on behalf of the Chamber, thank you for doing this today. And then let's start there. How long have you been a member of the Chamber?
I think it was 2002, about 20 years. So we started our firm on April Fool's Day, 2002, and I probably joined the Chamber shortly thereafter. So
that's a bold move.
That's right. I figured it's appropriate,
So 21 years, 20 plus years. What's that experience been like?
Oh, it's been good. It's been a good experience, and we've done a lot of projects in the county, state. Done one international, so it's been a good move.
Well, speak on one of the projects that you mentioned. I just gave the taglines here, but maybe go in a little more depth on what it is y'all do. Sure.
Of course, I moved to DeSoto County in the mid-'90s to design the Landers, what's now the Landers Center.
Okay.
It was, of course, DeSoto County Civic Center at the time, designed for high school graduation. So that was one of the big projects. I was with a different firm at the time. Shortly after completing that, I went out on my own, and we did the Great American Homestore there on 55. A lot of people have seen that. Several schools in the area, both DeSoto County and Tate County. Several banks. The Pinnacle Center there on Airways, Commercial Center there, did that. A lot of medical clinics. We did the little clock tower here on the square for the Hernando Women's Club back in the day. Yeah.
When was that?
That was, they're going to make me, I'll get in trouble with that one.
Yeah, we don't have to be exact here. We're talking 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
So, yeah.
Man, that's why I love what I do. I get to meet so many cool people in Hernando. And now I know the people behind the watchtower, which is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
When you whether you're coming on 55 or crossing into the square, the clock tower is just really cool. And then Christmas time when you get the tree next to it.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's great. Yeah. It really can warm up a community.
Yeah. And we, our intent was to be very community minded. We love our community and, like to participate. We also designed the little pavilion at the church park, tennis court area, designed that. And at the time I had a sawmill business. And so we also did furnish the timbers at the time as well. So
who did the actual tennis court?
I'm not sure.
Not you guys.
It wasn't us. It was there before my time. So
I do think it's just really unique that you're going down the main street of a little town or a little city, and there's just randomly a tennis court right in the middle. I think it's great. Yeah. And then at night when the lights are on, it just adds a cool vibe.
Adds activity. Yeah. Right.
So what is your role?
I'm the principal, president of the company, lead architect, so chief bottle washer, make the coffee, design the buildings, a little bit of all of it. So
that's what it takes, right?
Right.
The jack of all trades, or good enough at everything just to be dangerous, right? You're right there. That's kind of my motto too. But I couldn't do what I do without people. So how big of a staff do you have?
We've got 11 right now, and I've got one full time I have a Corinth office in Corinth, which is where I grew up. And so we've got an office in downtown Corinth as well.
Corinth has a sweet little downtown.
Yeah, a lot of history. Yeah. When I moved here, Hernando was the closest thing I could find to Corinth. So, a little bit of history and small town feel.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some frequently asked questions that you get that maybe there's some misconceptions on what exactly you do? And
every project, everybody asks how much is it going to cost?
First thing they ask.
Thing,
And I get it. And I probably would do the same, but it's so much more in detail.
It is. It's like buying a car, you can say, how much does a car cost? You know, well, are we talking Mercedes Benz or a Yugo?
Are you getting a sunroof or not?
So, I mean, it is a hard question. It's probably the one, honestly, we struggle with the most. And especially since COVID is, you know, I think we're going to look back and see COVID as a real historic event.
Yeah.
In the construction world, you know, what we were building for $150 a square foot before COVID is now costing $250, $300. You know, it's easily 100% inflation value on construction costs from what it was pre-COVID. And so it has really changed the industry. Yeah.
Any hope that it's going to try to trickle back in that?
I mean, it may inch back to some sense of normalcy, but I don't know.
Wow.
I don't think it'll get back to where, you know,
our new reality.
And I've been doing this for 30 years total. And, you know, I've never seen anything like this as far as economic impact to the construction industry.
Because the lumber went up, right?
Yeah, lumber, steel, concrete.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah. Concrete was $75 a yard pre-COVID. Now it's $190. So, I mean, and that just multiplies out with the building. So
there was a trickle down from COVID that affected everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I felt it. I'm feeling it more now.
Right.
Being a podcaster, COVID was actually good for me. People had time and money.
Yeah. Right.
But now the economy, but we don't want to get into all that stuff, do we?
And that's the bizarre part about the economy. And in what we do, architects are usually the first ones to see a slowdown in the economy because people stop planning when the money gets tight and those kind of things. But I mean, last year was a record year, and this year we're already over that. And you know, everything's expensive, but the economy just seems like it just keeps growing and booming. So it's really a strange economy.
Telling me, I'm still trying to figure it out. So let's do some call to action, as they say. You know, if someone wants to work with y'all, what's the best approach? How do they get in touch with you, and what's that process look like?
Sure. You know, just contact our office. You can call. We've got info at AERC PLLC is the email. We have internet, Facebook, and usually what we'll do is set up an initial meeting and just kind of talk through, find out what the goals are of the project, you know, kind of what the expectations are on cost parameters. If, you know, a lot of times people don't know when they first come in, and so it's a little bit of a chicken or the egg, and we kind of work both sides of that equation to determine what the needs are, how big the building needs to be. If there's a site, you already have a site, help pick out a site if you need that. But
all of that goes back to the frequently asked question: how much is it going to cost?
Right.
You know, and I'm sure that's just a fraction of all the things you look at. Right.
Oh yeah. Because we have. I mean, you know, we do full service design, which means we help with the mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, structural engineering, civil, you know, the whole everything about a building we touch and see from start to finish, from concept to move in is basically what we're involved in.
These places are like little babies, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you're driving down, we built that.
Right.
We built that one.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And I'm sure, like kids, when you see an old picture of like your kid being younger, it puts you back into a certain time.
Right.
You ever see a building and be like, man, that's 20 years old. And I remember what the business was like then.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to go in a building I've designed because I guess like an artist, every time I go in, I see things I probably would have done a little differently. You know,
I'm sure the older, the more air quote mistakes you see.
Yeah, things I would just do differently. And I mean, one of the great opportunities of being in business this long, I guess, is, you know, we designed the Landers Center initially, and that was a 5-year project from start to move in. And now we've been engaged to help them do the expansion they're getting ready to do.
Oh, really?
So, it's real exciting.
Is that breaking news?
Yeah, well, it's out there, and you know, the county's working on getting a construction manager on board right now, but it is exciting. Yeah, it's about a 200,000 square foot addition convention hall that they've needed almost from day one, you know, so they can target some bigger events and that type of thing.
That's amazing.
So.
Breaking news, everybody.
That's right.
Well, before we wrap this up, let's get the website one more time. Phone numbers. How can they get
Sure.
you again?
It's just AERCPLLC.com is the website, and number 662-298 I don't even use it much. 298-5662, I think.
There we go. I don't even know.
Better check it.
I don't even know my mother's phone number.
No, don't use it anymore.
Well, it's just cell phones, man. You just find the name.
Yep. And I'll give you my cell phone because that's usually the best way to catch me is 901-606-2085. So you can always get me that one.
Well, awesome. Well, Doug, thanks again for being here.
Well, thank you
for everything you've done for the chamber, everything you've done for this community. You guys have been integral, clearly, in the 10 minutes I've been talking to you. It's obvious how you feel about Hernando, which I love too. Everyone here watching and listening loves it too.
Thank you.
Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in today. And you can follow the Cafe and Commerce podcast on all major platforms. Go to the description area and find those links. To those watching and listening, thank you and have a great day.